I didn't know that tiredness could be an issue because it affected my life. I would feel lazy to go for classes, church meetings, outings with friends, cooking, doing house chores, making plans. There were instances where I would try to do house chores. One out of a number of chores would make me so heavy, weak, and unmotivated to go on. I used to feel sleepy even after sleeping for a long night. After taking a nap, after rest, that while I'm in class, I would sleep. After eating, I would feel sleepy. While reading, I would feel sleepy. After sleeping for long in the day and waking up, I would still feel sleepy. I want to thank God for the major transformations I have experienced in my stay in God's Lighthouse. Despite the troubles I encountered when I became serious in wanting to obey God this 2025, prior to this time, I had been here far back as 2022, but I stopped coming because I didn't like how long meetings lasted. The first time I came, I wasn't also used to seeing crowds. I mean, face-to-face sitting arrangements. So after my visit here, as soon as I was done with exams, I traveled with my family for a vacation. And when I returned, I had no interest in coming back here again. Then I met Stephen Aja, who invited me for a TARI meeting this year, around March or April. But I was so sleepy, I couldn't keep my eyes open. I didn't take cognizance of what pastor said. Then I left after the TARI, came back again much later because I was told that God needed me in a place where I can grow spiritually because the place I am wasn't helping me to grow. So I came to God's Lighthouse on a Friday. I didn't intend to even stay till the meeting was over because my mom sent me on an errand. But as I stayed and listened to Pastor, he was talking about obeying God's instructions over your parents and mentioned that whoever will not give up mother, father, brother, sister, and so on is not worthy of me. He emphasized so much about being in a place where the pastor is teaching false doctrine and members are indoctrinated with lies and false teachings. As I listened, the message resonated with me, and I felt like God was directly talking to me. So I stayed till the end of the meeting. After the meeting was a TARI meeting that same Friday. So I was about leaving, then Loretta met me and said, where am I hurrying up? So I told her my mom sent me on an errand. So she said, after what pastor has said, you still want to go? I told her my mom sent me on an errand, so she advised me to inform my mom that I'm in church. Then Edidiong from the pastoral team also said the same thing. So I told her my mom had warned me not to be in God's Lighthouse again. After the advice, I defied her instructions and stayed over. I thank God that it was in my attendance that God used Pastor to address demonic sleep, tiredness, and fear of darkness, lying without knowing, of which I was a victim. After the TARI, I went straight to the work mom sent me to do the morning after. As expected, she was not happy. She asked me later on where I was that night, and I told her I was in church. She said she would report me to my dad because I defied her warnings and went on with my plan. In the heat of the rebukes, God just made it easy for me. I spoke softly to her that on this church matter, I'll explain to her why I went regardless, and there was peace for a while. Later in the night, I noticed that I was just in the parlor all alone, and I didn't feel like there was a strange presence with me. Before this change, as a child, even in the daytime, I felt like there was someone with me, but I wouldn't see anyone. When I wanted to bath, I wouldn't close the door because I felt like I wasn't alone. I thought it was just fear that grips children, but it didn't stop. I grew past a child, became a teenager, and a young adult. When I told my friends in school that I couldn't stay alone in a small room at night, not to talk of an empty big house, they wouldn't believe. When Pastor prayed, God made me believe that I would be delivered. And days after, I noticed that the consciousness of me not being alone, when physically I'm the only one present, was gone. I had fears of waking up in the night to pray. That one continued even to early this year. But after the prayers, I tried to pray the night I was awake. The fear came, and then I just suddenly became conscious that God is with me, and the fear died down. I began to pray in peace and boldness. God helps me when I want to pray each night. As soon as the fear wants to grip me, suddenly boldness just overwhelms me, and I know it's the Holy Spirit at work. For this deliverance, I give God praise. I also want to thank God for delivering me from tiredness and weakness. Prior to this deliverance, in my family church, I was prayed for as God revealed to the prophet about unexplained tiredness and weakness and slothful spirits. I laughed while they prayed and then pretended to be serious while these people were praying for me, because to me, tiredness wasn't a cause for alarm. It was a normal thing that happened to everyone. I kept laughing in my mind and out loud because I felt there were weightier matters that needed to be addressed in my life. So I rated them as unserious people. Though I kept praying till they were done. Sincerely, I kept wondering why there was too much emphasis on tiredness. Already, I was used to the words, I want to rest, I'm tired, don't stress me, because I didn't like any stressful or intense activity. I didn't know that tiredness could be an issue because it affected my life. I would feel lazy to go for classes, church meetings, outings with friends, cooking, doing house chores, making plans. There were instances where I would try to do house chores. One out of a number of chores would make me so heavy, weak, and unmotivated to go on. Physically, I would be so weak and stressed out. It still didn't click that this issue needed to be addressed. I patched it as normal. But after the tarry that night, my story changed. Days after, I would work and the same thing would want to happen. I would be feeling weak and unmotivated. When I remembered the prayer of tiredness, I told God to help me and I won't be tired. Though I was physically weak and unmotivated, then instantly I became so agile and energetic. I was looking for more work to do, sir. Since then, I will keep pushing myself to do house chores. I'll just become so energetic and keep going till I'm done with house chores. There were still days when I would weed and feel stressed because weeding was something I had not done regularly after I graduated from secondary school. I thank God so much that I don't feel weakness any longer. I renounced the words lazy and tired, and God has really changed my life. For this transformation, I give God praise. I used to feel sleepy even after sleeping for a long night. After taking a nap, after rest, my body was just acquainted with rest and sleep. That while I'm in class, I would sleep. After eating, I would feel sleepy. While reading, I would feel sleepy. After sleeping for long in the day and waking up, I would still feel sleepy. Just be sleeping at odd times and odd occasions. But sometimes I still do feel sleepy at odd hours. But I still give God thanks that it's not as bad as it used to be. Honestly, I'm grateful to God. My first visit to God's Lighthouse, Pastor prayed for God to give me eyes that see, ears that hear, and a heart that understands. When I left, I didn't know that I began to see things. I wouldn't even write them down. So subsequently, I began to forget the things I would see. Then situations, objects, or people would trigger a remembrance that this happened while I slept. I didn't bother to write the things I saw because I thought it didn't matter. So that was it. So I would wake up and know that I had multiple revelations and dreams, but would remember half of the events or remember it in patches or nothing at all. As I became regular in God's Lighthouse, even when I wouldn't remember what I dreamed, the little I remembered, I would write down. And I wrote only what made sense to me and left the rest. Then during one of the meetings, Pastor prayed that God should give us eyes that see, ears to hear, and heart that understands. My spiritual sight became clearer to me after those prayers. It didn't look like I was seeing things from afar like it used to be. I would see things as they went on around me and started taking notes. Then the more I took notes, the more I remembered, the more I saw. It happened so much that after I doze off for a short while, when I wake up, there are some times that I would totally forget that I had a short dream. So as I kept attending and participating in meetings, each time I sleep and dream, whether it was short, long, in the day, in the night, I would write them down. Though there are some that I couldn't write because I didn't know how to write what I saw. But I thank God that I have been able to remember the dreams I have. And I still try as much as I can to write down even the ones I can't understand. I have seen that from the dreams that I have had, God has been speaking to me about my life. Prior to this, I always thought God would speak to me personally. But when I shared one of my dreams with my Christian friend, she told me that God has been speaking to me and waiting for me to grow. I just didn't know and didn't pay attention. And I was already saying it was a demonic dream because of how the dream played out to me. Till I told this my friend and she said it was God speaking to me. I always had an imagination of how God would speak to me. Meanwhile, God had been speaking to me, but I didn't pay attention because I had doubts and struggled with unbelief. Truly, I have doubts, but I believe God is able to make me free from doubts. I want to thank God for where He has put me and His love towards me and my transformation and the peace He has given to me. For this and more to come, may His name be praised.
Thanks for watching. For more stories of God's transforming power as well as all the life-changing content, do check out the links in the description. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, turn on your notification bell, and share. God bless you.